shortly going to move on to our wonderful ceremony coming up this afternoon. I think we're nearly ready. Okay. Right, well, we're lucky enough this afternoon to be witness to another very special occasion. It's the signing of a wide-ranging memorandum of understanding between the Government of India and the European Union. And to mark this, I'd like to invite onto stage in turn, first Ms. Sushri Uma Bharti, the Honourable Minister of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. Ms. Bharti. Followed by His Excellency Mr. Karmenu Vella, who's Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs and Fisheries of the European Commission. Mr. Vella. And I think we're being joined by Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General of TERI. And our chair for this session, Mr. S. Vijay Kumar, Distinguished Fellow at TERI. And now I'll hand over to Mr. Kumar to welcome our guests.
Thank you very much. We are here today to have a MOU signing ceremony on the EU-India water cooperation. The cooperation itself has a history, and on the occasion of a summit between the European Union and India held on 30th March last in Brussels, a joint declaration on water partnership was agreed between the two parties. The joint declaration was based on the conclusions of the successful first India-European Union Water Forum held in November 2015 in New Delhi. Today, the joint declaration is to be made operational through the signatures between India and European Union, and it is with great pleasure that I have the privilege of welcoming the two dignitaries on the dais, Sushri Uma Bharti, Minister for Water Resources and River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, and His Excellency Mr. Karmenu Vella, Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs, Fisheries and of the European Commission. The Honourable Minister, of course, needs no introduction. She has been a long-standing Member of Parliament since 1998. She has been the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. She has been Minister of State and Minister of a number of departments, including Youth Affairs and Sports and Tourism and Coal and Mines, and now since May 2014, the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. Mr. Karmenu Vella, the European Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, has also a long-standing parliamentary career, and he has been a minister in Malta 4 times in the Labour Party, holding the ministries of Public Works, Industry and Tourism, and till he was appointed the European Commissioner designate in 2014, and he has been the European Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs, Fisheries and of the European Commission since then. So it's with great pleasure that welcome both of the dignitaries for the signing ceremony. I will not take up too much time on the content and the purpose of the memorandum itself. There are better people who will, I'm sure, dwell on this and explain the implications of what is clearly a long-term cooperative endeavor with, which will impact the populations in both nations. And in India, water has always been an important issue, and in the face of impacts of climate change, obviously the need to manage water resources sustainably becomes all the more important. And while the conditions in the Indian subcontinent may be a little different from those obtaining in Europe, nevertheless, the technologies, the systems, the regulations, regulatory processes, the governance systems that Europe has evolved over the years, and which the European Commission is today in charge of, have important lessons for India. And the cooperation between the European Union and India will, without a doubt, under the able leadership of Honorable Minister, help us in more sustainably managing resources in the face of the need to develop the country and to remove poverty and to grow sustainably. So with these words, I will welcome once more the delegates to the days, and I'll request His Excellency Mr. Karmenu Vella to give his address.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. I have to say that it is a great pleasure for me to be here and to be signing on behalf of the European Union the Memorandum of Understanding on Water Cooperation between the EU and India. The EU and India relations are very good, they are very strong, but our ambition is to continue to strengthen these relationships, to make these relationships not only deeper but also wider ranging. And we hope that the cooperation and the collaboration that we have at the level of government to EU goes down between member states, between our European corporate and businesses as well. This whole memorandum is about water, and we all know that water is life. And if there is a country which knows what water is really all about, I would say that it is India, as well as the European Union. But I think that India knows this very well, because India is attaching great importance to the water issue, both in terms of quality as well as in terms of quantity. Water is life, but unfortunately, water is being threatened. Water is being threatened by climate change. Water is being threatened by pollution. Water is being threatened by an increasing demand, and water is being threatened by a huge amount of wastage. And this is a global issue. We need global solutions, and we need global action as well. We need solutions as how to best make water accessible to our citizens. And when we talk about accessibility to water, it is not just about any kind of water. You have to make access for our citizens for water, for good quality water. Today's MOU is one way of implementing the EU-India water partnership in practical terms, because it will be strengthening our cooperation on water through technological exchanges, scientific and management experiences as well. And this is also helping both the EU and India so that we can work together jointly and to contribute jointly to one of the SDGs, particularly SDG number 6 from the Sustainable Development Goals. I have to admit, and I have to say, this MOU is certainly not going to solve all the issues in India, but I have to say that it will be a very good step in the right direction. And I think that is exactly what we have to start with. I can reconfirm that the EU will continue to cooperate, coordinate, and support India in all its endeavors, especially on water. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vella. And as you rightly said, the issue is not only a quantity, it is also quality, the issues of pollution, and the impact of climate change. And of course, there is a framework of the SDGs. And I think the audience needs no reminding that water actually flows through, as it were, many SDGs, whether it's the SDG on poverty, or the SDG on food security, or on health, or on water itself, which occupies a full SDG, or on sustainable settlements, whether rural or urban. And there are issues of sustainable consumption of water, and in the context of extraction groundwater in many of the northern states, it's a very serious issue. There's also the entire issue of sustainable use of terrestrial systems, including land, problems of desertification, problems of land degradation. There are huge areas in India where the land is degrading because of improper use, unsustainable use, and inadequate water resources to manage the land more sustainably in a way that feeds increasing populations, particularly those lands which are poor, which are held by poor or accessed by poor. So these are huge issues, and as Mr. Vella said, while the MOU may not solve the problem, it will at least hopefully go a long way towards finding solutions. And so on this note, may I have the privilege and the pleasure of requesting the Honorable Minister for Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Sushri Uma Bharti, to give a special address. Madam. आप बेशक
नहीं खड़े होकर जाऊंगी पढ़ना और माइक पकड़ना दोनों एक साथ नहीं कर पाऊंगी ये ऊंचा हो जाएगा Mr. Karmenu Vella, Commissioner for Environment, Maritime Affairs and Fisheries, European Commission, other dignitaries on dais, delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to address this important gathering of experts and stakeholders from across the world at the World Sustainable Development Summit. It is heartening that distinguished personalities from India and abroad have converged here to deliberate on the issues, challenges, and opportunities in the context of the people, planet, and progress. One of the most important bases of sustenance of life is water, a natural resource which is under tremendous stress because of numerous challenges that it faces. On an average, India receives annual precipitation of about 4,000 kilometer cube. However, because of high spatial and temporal variability of rainfall, water availability exhibits high uncertainty in terms of both space and time. This uncertainty, coupled with the rising demand, over-exploitation, inefficient use, and pollution of water resources, has created a situation of water stress. Increasing population, urbanization, consumerism, and changing lifestyle has led to a precariously dangerous situation where demands are outgrowing the availability of natural resources like water. The holy rivers of India, which have been the cradles of civilization, ensuring food security to the local population, are getting exhausted of their natural ability to sustain themselves due to unscripted use and pollution from various domestic and industrial sources. The per capita water availability in India has been on continuous decline, which has put our country into water-stressed category and is close to being categorized as water scarce. Many river basins in India are already water-stressed due to exploitation of groundwater. Even though the water demand amongst various sectors in India has been continually increasing, the efficiency of water use in these sectors needs to be emphasized. Agriculture, irrigation sector, which consumes about 80% of water use, has a potential of increase in efficiency. Additionally, the vagaries of climate changes are expected to exacerbate the situation, adding to the stress on the finite water resource. Increasing temperatures, erratic rainfall, extreme events like heavy floods and severe droughts are the challenges which require careful consideration in the policies and program of the country to address the issues of sustainability, prosperity, and development. The current and prospective pathways of growth and development in the nations across the world, including India, needs to encompass the equitable, efficient, and sustainable utilization of water resources through integrated approach, participatory planning, and effective implementation. This necessitates a participatory approach with regular stakeholder engagement, collaborations, and sharing of knowledge and best practices across the world. As you would be aware, last year in September, countries across the world adopted the United Nations SDGs Sustainable Development Goals, which under the Goal 6 requires nations to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, including access to safe drinking water and sanitation, reducing water pollution, increasing wastewater, recycling and reuse, increasing water use efficiency, integrated water resource management, strengthening participation of local communities, and expanding international cooperations, etc. I'm happy to mention that the current government has launched several programs in order to effectively address the challenges in water sector. Consultations have been made with all the stakeholders through Jal Manthan for effective implementation of various programs. With the now well-known Namami Gange program, we have initiated several actions to rejuvenate the holy river of Ganga and promote conservation of water bodies, efficient water use through a Nirmal and Aviral Dhara approach. Under the National Water Mission, the identified goals emphasized on enhancing the water use efficiency by 20%, promoting water conservation, water audits, IWRM, etc. Similarly, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is focused on issues of sanitation and waste management, while the PMKSY, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchan Yojana, focuses on efficient irrigation with a view of more crop per drop and har khet ko pani, water to every field. Amongst a year back, in October, India submitted its INDCS, intended nationally determined contributions committing to interventions in various sectors, including the water and sanitation sector, involving mitigation and adoption interventions such as wastewater recycling, reuse, zero liquid discharge, ZLD, real-time monitoring, reduction in wastage, enhancing water use efficiency, water conservation, and watershed development, etc. Ensuring water for all is a homogeneous task, and partnerships and collaborations between network of stakeholders, including practitioners and users, local communities, researchers, corporates, and the government have a key role to play. Shouldering this responsibility together is important, not only for ensuring efficient and sustainable water management, but also economic development, social equity, environmental restoration, sustainable development, and human prosperity, something that relates very well to the theme of people, planet, and progress of this WSDS. I'm glad to see that the Minister of Water Resource River Development, I'm glad to see that the Ministry of Water Resource, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation is entering a collaboration with the European Union, EU, and is signing an MOU to jointly work towards improvement in management of water resource and to strengthen technological, scientific, and management capabilities of India and EU in the field of water management on the basis of equality and mutual benefit. I hope this partnership will provide a platform that will help facilitate the exchange of knowledge, experience, and expertise to provide solutions to the challenges in water sector. Finally, I compliment TERI for organizing such an event of global significance. I do hope that the deliberations in this World Sustainable Development Summit, WSDS, will bring out the ideas and solutions that may bridge the gaps and promote sustainable management of natural resources and thus contributing to the sustainable development. I wish the World Sustainable Development Summit a great success. Our distinguished guest, Mr. Karmenu, Vella, and the other ladies and gentlemen here, I'm really very happy because I could see in Europe how beautifully and with a restraint water is used there. I hope our country will learn a lot from this MOU. I'm looking forward to this. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, may we have the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. Yes, please.
Do we initial each page?
Okay. That's okay. A copy in English.
Thank you.
Now I believe we have a couple of small gifts for the Minister and for the Commissioner. We have this rather wonderful plant, organically grown, for the Minister and for the Commissioner. Some organically grown spices.
Let me at the outset say that the agreement that has been signed today hopefully should start a new phase in the cooperation between the EU and India on the issues of water. And as the Honourable Minister in her address mentioned, this government has started many new initiatives on the use of efficient use of water and in managing water resources better. And the Namami Gange program, the Swachh Bharat program, the initiatives to increase water use efficiency, and most important, the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, which the Honorable Minister mentioned, which has components of watershed management, better use of water for irrigation, and better conjunctive use of groundwater and surface water, I believe has very important implications for our ability to manage water more efficiently, to produce more, and also to ensure more sustainable development of the country. So I think on this note, let me congratulate the parties and thank the audience for this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.